Hey everybody, it's Teresa. So just came from the core law class over at NEFAR, and I had a couple minutes in between picking up my son at school and wanted to go over Facebook ads. I was talking with somebody there and they brought up a very important question that I wanted to address. And that is, what am I getting out of the Facebook leads that I'm getting? So basically, what I've been reading, and I usually do talk about this, but I want to make it very clear. When you're doing Facebook ads and you're using a lead form, which means that you are trying to ask the potential customer for additional information, whether they give it to you by typing it in or whether it's populated directly from Facebook, those type of leads are taking anywhere from 12 to 18 months to come to fruition. Will you get a buyer in the first week? Potentially. Will you get one in 6 months? Potentially. It's much like anything else, like farming or doing postcards or handwritten letters, that kind of thing. It's going to take time. So statistically, I think I've seen on NAR and a few other sites where they're saying that Facebook ads are typically generating the majority of their leads between 12 and 18 months. So why is that? It is because the average customer, and you've heard this many times, and you've probably seen it on NAR stats, what is the percentage of the customer that is going to the internet before they're going to the agent? If I'm correct, I believe it's up in the 90th percentile that somebody is going to search on the internet before they come to an agent. Now, the thing that's even more interesting is they're searching on the internet even longer than they were previously before they talked to an agent. And why is that? It is because there's more information on the internet than ever before. So we do a good job putting information on our listings, detailing what's in the house. We do a good job of putting pictures out there of every angle of the house. We do a good job of providing videos and Matterport where they can walk through. So in some aspects, we are cutting the amount of time that that individual buyer needs to spend with an agent, which is good, because instead of showing 100 houses, maybe we're only showing 4. And that's because the buyer potentially feels that there's enough information to be able to weed out some of the other homes, and they only need to see these particular 4. So that is good and bad. The bad part is you have less time to create that relationship. And if you're following anything out there, if you're following any coach, if you're following anything that your brokers are telling you, the majority of them are telling you that relationships are the way to go. Relationships are key. It's not just, hey, buy a house for me, sign these documents, and never see them again. It's, hey, let's have a coffee. Let's get to know each other a little bit better to see if I can help you. Let's form that relationship. And then you sell them a house, and then you keep up with them in some form or fashion, whether it be one time a year you send them a card, maybe you send them a quarterly notice on what their home is worth. Whatever the case may be, our job is to be their agent for life. Because number one, hopefully we like them. And number two, statistically, if you became an agent earlier in your life than I did, you potentially have 7 to 8 transactions that you can do with that person, or you have multiple chances at referrals, right? So let's get to the Facebook ads. This is the most recent one I've run, and there's no major magic to it. I have now talked with 3 different people. This is very top one here, Julington Creek. Okay, so I now have 20 results, which are lead forms. It has been shown to 766 people. And the cost per result, meaning the cost per getting somebody to sign up the form, is $2.51. Yesterday it was down at $1.97. We did tweak the ad real quickly, which we ended up losing about a day of leads, unfortunately. So it did take my lead cost up to $251. Tell me, would any of you pay $251 to get a lead? Would you pay $251 in order to get people into your pipeline? Most of us would. So I've now spent $50 as of today to get those 20 leads, which were shown, that ad was shown to 766 people. Okay, that doesn't mean that 766 people actually read the ad. It means that they scrolled past it. Okay, so of those 20, I did something that I didn't know I did, and I'm very happy I did, and I'm going to build the rest of my forms like this. So I'm going to make sure to teach that in the class. Many of you get an email, or you've probably heard on this site me talking about it. I'm hoping to do a Facebook ads class for a local builder, and it's a custom builder out in Julington Creek. The subdivision is right off a racetrack road, and back in 2008, they did not sell all of their lots off, and they still have 15 or 16 lots left that they're trying to sell. So the neighborhood has been around for 15 years. You can look at the quality of the homes. And you can see that they are all custom. It's not a cookie cutter neighborhood. There's a house that looks like it belongs at the beach. It's a very light and bright blue. It's very breezy and airy, and you would definitely look at it and go beach when you see it right next to a house that looks semi like a castle. They are the higher priced, higher dollar homes. In order to buy a home in there today and build, your lowest one is about $679. And they go up over $1 million. So, also, would you pay $2.51 to potentially get a lead for homes that are $500,000 and up? Now, we can't target anymore. There's only a few things that we can do and tweak, but you can do a radius around a certain address. So the address that I put in there belongs to the builder. And then like I said, the only thing you can target is a mileage around that particular address. So the minimum is 15 miles. So that's what I did. And within 15 miles, there are plenty of homes that are, 300, 400, 500, 600,000 and up. So I'm basically paying $251 per lead to get a lead that should be higher than the starting point of about $200,000, $225,000 in Jacksonville in general. So this does encompass St. Johns County. This doesn't encompass part of Jacksonville because of that 15-mile radius is right there in Julington. So have I gotten any leads out of it? Or have I gotten any potential buyers? Yes, I do have some potential buyers. Most of them are not ready until next year at some point. Probably not first quarter. There might be one that's ready first quarter. I just don't know. We're working on them right now. But this is one thing that I would like to ask you to do. If you would please, if you have anybody that is consistently looking to get into the $400,000 home price sale and up consistently, please share this video with them. Ask them to join this group. I prefer it only be realtors, just simply because I am working for a builder, and I would like to bring agents that are looking for that price point and higher, because that's what that builder sells. The builder does sell in Nocatee, and they do sell out in E-Town. Speaking of E-Town, if you are not familiar with E-Town, if you haven't taken the certification, it is very, very quick. I parked and got the certification and left in, I think, an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes by the time I went through a few of the models. So it is well worth it, and I would suggest anybody that works or wants to work in that area, where E-Town is, right there near 9B, I would suggest you go do that certification. Again, it is very quick, and I think well worth your time. Also, there's a welcome center there. It's not completed yet, but when the welcome center is complete, it's complete enough for you to walk in and view a few things, but it's not complete, as in the coffee shop is not in there. Wi-Fi is not in there yet. but they are going to have a conference room that anybody can use. So think about this. If you have customers that are looking in Nocatee, E-Town, maybe similarly priced or similarly styled homes, that might be a great meeting point for you. You just have to go in and schedule with their scheduler when they get everything going. So that was one of the little takeaways from taking the class. Again, please share this video. Please share the group. We would like to grow it with realtors that are looking for help. I am by no means any guru for this. This is a very, very basic ad. If this is confusing at all to you, then you know that if this is basic, there are other advanced people, and I do not pretend to be a teacher or a coach that can teach you the advanced techniques. I am learning this and just sharing it. Similarly, my conversation went this morning with somebody else. They're better at Instagram. So if there's somebody here that's really knocking it out of the park on Instagram, jump on, please. Make mention that you're getting leads from Instagram, and maybe put your own class together. I'm not getting anything out of this monetarily, but I am networking with other realtors, which I think will help me in my business. And you similarly, if you have something that you know, do the same thing and network with other realtors. We must help each other out. I think that is imperative. Realtors should not see other realtors as competition. I just cannot think of a scenario in Jacksonville where we are competition with each other. Maybe if you're in a niche market, but is that niche market just that tiny that you're going to call all of the people that would fit in that niche market in your career? I just don't see it. So I think it's always better to give somebody else a hand, and in the future they will give you a hand and help each other out. So anyways, the other thing I wanted to mention is if you've seen let me get this up on the screen here for Thanks.io. If you've seen any of my posts about Thanks.io, I'm going to give an update real quick. Okay. There's a link in there. I'm very clear. And again, in this video, I want to make sure that I'm very clear. There's an affiliate link to offering this to you, but it's only if you're paid. If you're a paid customer, I teach how to use Thanks.io free. How to use it for free. I'm not saying that you would have to pay me to do this. I'm saying I teach you how to use this website free for your advantage. So I would suggest if anybody is interested in sending postcards, this is the cheapest way I've found to send postcards. I do 100% believe that you should send written items to your customer. Handwritten, I think, is better, but there are instances where it's great just to send your customer a postcard. Let's say you've just met them, and this is a big selling point for send out cards, and I think banner season is another one that you can do the same thing, where if you're in a meeting with a customer, or this is also a big push for FSBOs. You go by the FSBO, maybe you take a picture of their house, and you send them a postcard and say, hey, drove by the house today, good job on the landscaping, let me know if you need any assistance, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. But a personalized card coming from you is going to hold much more weight than a piece of paper dropped off at their house that is not personalized and just says, hey, dear neighbor, or hello, Mr. Customer, I would like to list your house. So it's a step to just doing something that's a little bit more personal, and at 49 cents a card, which includes the stamp. Stamps for postcards are 35 or 39 cents. I just think it was a win-win for me, because I was already going to send out enough cards to make signing up for the wholesale account a bonus. So again, I teach people how to use Thanks.io for free. And the free part has to do with, let me get back over to the homepage. I'm waiting for it to refresh, and it's just not. Let's do this. Oh, here we go. We'll do this. Sorry. Okay. So just a brief way of using this. So this retargeting list, create retargeting list. I can do a full class on this, but this is just a quick talk about this while I have a few minutes. So on your web page that you get from your CRM or whatever you use for your web page, if you click on this create retargeting list, there's a little pixel that you can put in there. Let's see if I can get it to come up without, let's see, cancel, retargeting. All right, so, all right, it comes up with a list. You name it whatever you want to call it. I just called it retargeting September 11th because that was when I started this particular file. You go down here and you copy this. See that? Copy to clipboard. Just click on it. And then you take it and you put it in your CRM. Now, I don't know what CRM you have, but if you have KV Core like I do, I'll show you where to put it in KV Core. So I'm clicking on KV Core. I'm going to go down to Web and IDX. Probably should do that, so I'm not showing my customer names. Alrighty. And then I go over to Edit Settings right here. Can you see that? Edit Settings. Click on that. All right, and then I scroll down here. Just put your mouse there and scroll down until you see a box that says custom header and custom body. So custom header is right here. Custom body is right here. So if you have your little pixel that you cut and it said cut to clipboard, and then you right click and click paste in this box, you can see that says thanks. This is my thanks.io pixel. So what happens once you hit the save button, you hit the save button right there, and then you back out of this. So once you do that, as customers go onto your website, a little box will pop up and it says, this website would like to know your location. Would you allow it? Yes or no? And if the customer clicks yes, then that data is sent back over to thanks.io, and I'll show you. Boom. Into this retargeting file. And it will populate an address here for you. It'll tell you the date that it was added, and then it will give you three options. The looks like a paper airplane, that's sending a postcard. There's a pencil for editing, and then there's a garbage can if you want to throw it away. So the only reason for you to throw away an address is if the address comes up and it is not a good address. It's maybe it's a hospital, maybe it's a doctor's office or something like that. And there's usually a little triangle next to it that indicates that the system believes that that's not a residence. So that's good. It saves you some money. You can tell which ones are good and which ones are bad. And if you see a few that are like major roads like Blanding Boulevard, Southside Boulevard, look those up. Those could be apartments. Again, it usually puts a little triangle, but it can't always tell what an apartment is because that is residential. So it may leave it in there, but the apartment number doesn't usually populate. So how do I use that? This is very manual and is very free. It doesn't cost anything to use this from thanks.io. I do believe now when you sign up, you have to put a credit card in, but there is no charge to the credit card. But putting that credit card on file allows you to be able to send postcards right away if you wanted to. So how I use this. So when I get my Facebook leads, sometimes the lead does not put in a good email address or a good phone number. I know, surprise and shock, correct? Sometimes you get a phone number that's 904-123-4567. Okay? They just do that. Of course, everybody does it. They put in a bogus number sometimes, or they put a bogus email in. So how do you find that customer? Obviously, there's an interest in buying or selling a home because they came to your website for buying and selling a home, right? So how do you find that customer? So one of the ways that you find them is if they have a unique name. If they have a unique name, you can possibly go into the local property appraiser's office. You can possibly just Google it and find their address. But if they have a name that's fairly similar, my name is Teresa Robertson, there are many, many of us, okay? So in order to find out which Teresa Robertson out of the, let's say, 100 one of the easier ways to do it is to try to find out if they hit your website about the same time that they became a lead on your Facebook ad. So go through those addresses. You can download this. See this right here? Export CSV list. So you export that list. CSV is comma, separated values. You export that list to your spreadsheets, and then, open it up. And in your spreadsheet, you go with the first address, and you can look it up and put Mr. or Mrs. Smith. Well, if you have a Mr. or Mrs. Smith in your database that just signed up through Facebook, there's a really good shot that that is the correct Mr. or Mrs. Smith. So now what do? You still need to get in touch with them. You could send them a postcard. You could send them a handwritten letter. You could send them a long letter, a regular letter, whatever you want to do. But this is an extra way to get in touch with them with somebody that already is showing interest. Okay, so that statistically should up your odds of them being a customer somewhere down the line. So that's the free way I use it. The paid way I use it is to actually send a postcard to everybody that dumps into that list. Now, I started doing that and then decided I wanted to do it a different way. So now I do it in batches. I do a little bit more research on them with my little spreadsheet. I document it. Again, I'm saving money because I'm doing a little bit more research. So if I determine that maybe they bought the house 6 months ago, then maybe they're just hitting my website because they're looking for value on the home. Maybe they just want to see if their values have gone up or something like that. So I try to do a little bit more research to determine whether I want to send them a postcard. Maybe if I look them up and I see that they're on the beach or on the water, maybe I just send them a specific postcard. Maybe that postcard has water in it. Maybe it has a boat on it. I'll show you a postcard. Let's see. Let's go send one. So Thanks.io will do this for you, or you can create your own. I'll show you the few that I've created. Thanks.io did this one for me. I did this one, which is just a sunset that was a free image there on this website. I chose this picture of a little girl and said, I have one buyer looking for land near you. And then this one is somebody with binoculars that's looking around at land. So it's another card that I'm sending out for people looking for land. And that's just a template I've made because I want to send those out regularly. Let's see if I can click on the sunset is the one I usually send. Now, make sure that you do your due diligence and figure out what needs to go on these postcards so that you're doing the right thing. I've got my full name, I've got my phone number, and the name of the brokerage. Remember to put locally owned and operated, and then get your equal opportunity housing sign up there, okay? Then on the other side, and they will put that on there for you. Thanks.io will help you with putting that on there because I had trouble putting the logos on there. I can put all the words on there all day long. There's a little builder in there that's very simple, but I had trouble getting the images to merge, and they will 100% help you. They're very, very nice. So this, instead of, you don't have to type this in each time, just click on message template. That's something that you do have to save in there, but you don't have to save it in there one time. Okay, so here are my message templates. I've only got 4 that I'm using right now. Thank you, thinking about selling distressed homes and ducks in a row. So I just sent out a postcard that had a bunch of ducks in a row on a shelf, and it will populate their first name because I put this special code in there. And it says, let me help you get your ducks in a row before listing to sell. Preparation is key to reaching your goal. A quick phone call to me, your local realtor, and I will be there. Thank you. And then at the end I said, thank you, Teresa Robertson. And if you already have a realtor, please disregard this message. It's not an attempt to sell. Make sure you put everything in there that you legally need to put in there, okay, on your postcards. Keep yourself out of trouble. But that's how I use it paid. It costs me $49 a month, and then the cards become 49 cents a piece after I pay the $49. So as long as I send a minimum of 200 cards a month, it becomes worth it. And because I'm farming, I already send 356 cards a month in my farming program. So it more than makes sense for me to use Thanks.io. Okay? So anyways, that's it for now. I've got to go pick up my son. If you have any questions, please put it down in the comments. Please share this with other realtors. Again, there are a lot of realtors, but we can't all call everybody within our MLS. We just can't. We can't take all the customers. We are not each other's competitors, and we would do much better if we'd help each other out. Deals would close faster, right? I'm not saying don't negotiate. Absolutely. Be hard and negotiate, but help each other out along the way. If you've learned something, help your fellow realtor out, okay? Make each other smarter and be nice. Y'all have a good day. Bye.